So I finished Dickinson, and I can officially say I have watched all 4 marquee Apple TV Plus shows. And did I save the best for last? We're going to talk about that. And also, what was my overall thoughts on the Apple TV Plus platform? Is it worth checking out? Is it worth subscribing to it? We're going to talk about that and much more. Dickinson takes viewers into the world of Emily, audaciously exploring the constraints of society, gender, and family from the perspective of a budding writer who doesn't fit into her own time through her imaginative point of view. Hey everybody, and I have officially made it to the finish line. I left Dickinson for the very last Apple TV Plus review because it was the only show that had the entire season available, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But definitely consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with our content. And if you've seen Dickinson, I want to know what you all thought in the comment section. Now, I will be touching slightly on some of the spoilers, so if you haven't seen the show yet, definitely go check it out and come back. But if you've seen the entire series, you're in the right place. So, as I said, I left this one for the last review because, it had not just a sample, not just the first 3 episodes, but the entire season. And, this was, without a doubt, I'm going to just say it right up top, was the most entertaining series so far. Even if I condense it to the 3 episodes that we get with Dickinson to begin the season, I still enjoy them more than I did, as far as the entertainment factor goes, than I did the morning show, For All Mankind and See, just because it was fun. Those other shows have their great elements. We get the epic sci-fi with See, we get the drama with the morning show, and we get this, alternative history drama with For All Mankind. But this was something fun. Again, there's a period piece, a period drama with some coming-of-age elements, but it knew what it was and just had a fun time. I personally had a fun time watching the show. Sure, not all the themes and topics and everything landed with me. Some of the dramatic elements didn't really work for me. But, again, I had a fun time with Hailee Steinfeld playing Emily Dickinson, a rebel in her own right, someone that delivered the lines perfectly. She did such a great job in this role, and Hailee Steinfeld as an actress, everything I've seen her in, I really enjoy her performance. This is like her in Edge of 17, but like on a little bit less edgier, because that was a rated R film. This is TV-14, but she definitely has those rebellious type of traits that she did in that character in Edge of 17 that she does in this show. I just really enjoy her performance. She was really a great lead in this show, and she wasn't the only one that shone, from her, the stuff that we get with her dad, that budding relationship with her dad really wanted her to be kind of in that time where women was just in the kitchen and doing motherly things, and they had their ups and downs in their relationship, where there was times when he looked down upon her and really didn't want her to be a writer. To one point he slaps her when he goes off to Washington, but then he gives her the garden and keeps the tree. So they had their ups and downs throughout the season, but I enjoyed their dynamic. Her relationship with her and her mother was not as interesting as the dad, but they had, when Emily thought she, when she was dying, her mom confided in her about, not wanting to have kids, but their relationship, even though it was limited, it's still enjoyable. But definitely her relationship with her brother Austin was very entertaining. A character that was very, at the beginning, you thought he was going to be one way, but then ended up being nice, but then ended a little bit differently, but still enjoyed his character, Austin Dickinson. But definitely the standouts for me outside of Hailee Steinfeld as Emily was her sister, who I thought at first was going to be very just one note, kind of the comedic elements of the show, but she ended up getting a nice little arc, seeing herself and getting in her own skin, and not, going with that one guy that she was in love with, who ended up, sharing the picture that she made for him, and maybe finding love at the end of the season. And we're getting to season 2, so it'll be interesting to see how that relationship plays out. But I thought that she was funny. Number one, when she had her comedic moments, I thought that Lavinia had some really great lines, her and the knitting and the cats and all that. I really enjoyed that character, as well as I think one of the more interesting characters was Sue, because she had that love triangle, right, with Emily and her brother Austin, and she wanted to kind of be her own woman, went out to Boston for a little bit, but once she found out the news about Emily, she came back home. And I just really liked the character who played, I think her name was Ella Hunt, who played Sue. I thought she did a great job in that character. And again, I thought that the entire main cast had a really solid performance throughout the entirety of the show. The supporting cast members, when we got the kids from the town coming in, her friend George, who they had an interesting relationship, and you thought he was a good guy, then he had his moment when he wanted to impress the dad, and he left at the very end. I really enjoyed his character. And again, there was just a fun energy about this show. It knew what it was. It took itself seriously at times, which didn't really land for me at some of the back half of the season. Again, it was more dramatic teen stuff. But when the show knew what it was in the middle, the beginning and the middle of the season was very entertaining. There were definitely some standouts for me personally from episodes 3, which was Wild Nights, which was by far the most entertaining one, when we get the more energetic side of the show, where you get, and I love how the show sprinkled in these modern, it might take some people out, but I enjoyed the modern kind of style of the score, the soundtrack, and kind of the verbiage that they use. It kind of just really made me kind of enjoy the show more. They didn't necessarily go to the tropes of speaking in that language during that time, or just kind of being very stuffy, but they had fun with it. So Wild Nights was definitely a standout. Episode 5, I'm Afraid of My Own Body, I enjoyed, and A Brief But Patient Illness. Those were definitely the 3 standout episodes for me. And again, I thought that middle half of the season just really had a fun time. The characters were fun, energetic, entertaining, and nothing wrong with the very first couple episodes. In the back half, it was just that those 3 really kind of stood out for me. Criticisms, going back to, I've said it a couple times already, but the love stuff, you know, when Emily kind of went back to kind of being, maybe I should be a housewife, it kind of put back her character a little bit, because I love when she was just more independent and really wanted to stand out and be a writer. But then there were moments where she kind of retreated back from that notion. And it makes sense. She's a teenager. She sees love in Ben, which was an interesting character who, ultimately died. But it was just, I really wish that she would have stayed a little bit more hard around the edges as she did in the first half than she did the second. And also, just like I said, a lot of those love beats didn't really work for me towards the end. It really kind of focused more on the love-heavy stuff. The last episode was the wedding, and Austin and Sue going off in the going off there from their wedding. But overall, and also too, as far as a negative thing, the supporting characters, some of them were very one note throughout the season. Again, I thought her dad was going to make a switch, but he ended up kind of staying the same by the end of the season. Same goes with Austin. Same goes with her mom, who's very one note. I enjoyed the performance by Jane, who I like in the one show with Kim Possible, whatever the name of the show is. I can't think of it now. But anyway, I enjoyed her performance, but she was just kind of the same character throughout. So I would like to have seen them get different arcs by the end of the season. But overall, I think Dickinson was my favorite of the series so far. Again, yes, it had an entire season to kind of spread its wings and tell an entire story, unlike the other 3 series that I watched. But again, basing the 3 episodes that I got from Dickinson, I enjoyed those more than I did the other ones, just because it was so entertaining. So there you have it. That's my thought. I thought that the season, if I were to rate it, I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5. I recommend you guys check it out, Dickinson, because it does have a full slate of episodes and it knows what it is. And I really enjoyed that. So a little bit before I wrap up this video, talking about my experience with all 4 marquee shows. Again, from Dickinson, For All Mankind, C, and The Morning Show. I enjoyed those shows. They had their ups, they had their downs, but ultimately, is it worth getting? At the end of the day, I recommend you guys checking out. Again, it's free for 7 days. You might want to wait till some of the shows end and you can binge it later. But as far as those 4 marquee shows, they have a little bit of something for everybody. Again, Dickinson being the coming-of-age story, For All Mankind, for those history buffs about the space race, the drama with The Morning Show, and then the epic sci-fi with C. I think they're touching on all ends, and we're going to get more stuff later this month with the M. Night Shyamalan horror kind of drama film or TV show, and more coming through the pipeline. So I'm very, very excited to see what Apple Plus gives us. But again, if you're kind of weary on some of those shows, this might not be the program for you, but as the months and years go by, I think this is a platform to keep an eye out for. As far as Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple Plus, as well as HBO Max, we're in the streaming wars, and I'm enjoying the content so far. So like and share this video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Comment below what you thought of Dickinson, as well as those other shows. Check out my other reviews for those, and let me know if you decide to get Apple Plus, or if you're going to wait a little bit. Let me know in the comment section. Keep an eye out for our Watchmen review. Episode 4 is tonight. Or episode 3, I should say. I will be reviewing that. We got some other content for movies on movie reviews that I recently saw on our channel. So thank you all for watching my Apple Plus marathon and watching this review, and we'll see you in the next video.